Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming to another video. Be seen. All right, let's see. I still haven't shaved my head. That head is still bad. I do not care today, man. I don't care. Let it be. I'm old, so let the hairline disappear. I'll shave it when I'm ready. You guys can't see it anyway. I think the other videos from earlier today, you could really see how shiny we got going on. But that's not important, man. Y'all don't care about that. What we care about is Rui Hachimura joining the Los Angeles Lakers. The three picks that we shipped out, and Kendrick Nunn also. Um, Great deal, happy deal. I'm not upset at all about those three picks of Kendrick Nunn being shipped out for Rui Hachimura. Um, I don't know, man. I feel like the Lakers are on the right track when you make a move like this, man. I feel like the things that I've been suggesting in this camera are the things that the Lakers are doing. I really feel that way. Not to say that they listen to me or not. I don't know. But what I can say is this is what I want to see. The Lakers looking into the past 3 years or so, 4 years for lottery picks. Guys in the middle rounds, just like I said about Jared Culver. This was my idea about what we should be thinking in regards to Jared, because at the end of the day, he was a lottery pick like 5 minutes ago, and people have given up on him. And those are the players teams without any assets need to be trying to acquire for the low, and then have a very patient attitude about how they develop, because that's the only way you're ever going to get the high upside value that you're not getting from the draft. And a lot of these players do take longer than the rookie contract to fully develop. And if you catch them on the tail end, you might only have 1 or 2 years to wait on them to pop to where they're going. We, the Lakers, have seen it so many times where we've watched players go through the struggle development stages. We ship them out to another team, and then they ball out for those teams because we were the ones that had to sit through the rigors of them developing. So my thing is, let's flip that on its axis. Since we know that's the dynamic, how about we look for that in other teams and bring those players to us? So that's what I think we should be doing. And I like the Rui Hachimura trade because it's in that vein. It's exactly in that vein. He was the 9th overall pick. I told you guys he was a 40% three-point shooter. That was not quite the whole thing. I think he shot 43% last year, shooting 33% from behind the arc this year. So that's where I got 40 from. It was not quite accurate for what he's doing this year, but it doesn't matter because he's a much better three-point shooter than what we had going on before this. So this is a great pickup for that reason. His mid-range game, as we talk about, is what is going to really pop off the screen for Laker fans. He really utilizes the mid-range more so than the average basketball player. Him, Patrick Williams, C.J. McCollum, DeMar DeRozan, those are the guys that first come to mind who really do attack from the mid-range, more so than a lot of players in the era right now. So the fact that he loves that mid-range jumper area is a plus for me, even though a lot of people would say, why don't you just take a step back and hit the three? He does that too. But his mid-range game is a comfortable thing. That 22-footer, 23-footer, one step in from the three-point line, he likes to attempt that shot, and he makes it a lot. So we're going to have to be comfortable with him taking it, because it's going to piss a lot of people off that he ain't shooting threes, but he's shooting that far away. But it's a good shot. It's a rhythm shot, and he takes it. DeAndre Hunter takes it a lot too. There's a lot of players around the league who are starting to get it, but what I understand is if you master it, if you make that shot a layup for you, you're not going to have to deal with too much defense because defenders don't really guard that area. Anybody that masters that area, that 20-foot, 18 range, 22-foot range, nobody's guarding it, bro. It's always open, especially off of picks, off of curls and things like that. It's always open. So it's just one of those things I notice. A lot of times our players find ourselves in that range being played off of when they don't know what to do. They don't have the moves to get themselves in that position. Rui is somebody who's looking to seek out that shot, man. He was raised in a different place in Japan. They ain't worried about not attempting that shot regularly. He's made that shot his own, and I cannot wait to see him take advantage of all that soft defense that's going to be coming around in that area. Plus, he's massive, dude. He's almost as big as Bron. To be honest with you, he's a big dude, 6'8", 230. And he's going to be pushing people around. He's going to give us a little bit of that energy. And I like the fact that we have him to throw at people like Brandon Clark, Scotty Barnes, stuff like that. The people that we probably have to have LeBron play, he ain't got to deal with them no more. Guys that Wenyen Gabriel going to have to bump around with. Now Wenyen has someone that can come in and take some of that pressure off of him. We know Thomas ain't want to play defense like that. We don't have to have him play as much defense if Rui can think the defensive side of the ball, which is what I understand he's going to have to work on. But his body size and what he can do physically, you're going to notice right away this is somebody who has not missed gym days. He ain't got to worry about asking him to hit the weight room. He got that under control. So that's what I'm really excited about. This is a big body guy who's going to work on continuing to keep his conditioning high, and hopefully it can translate to being healthy for us. And that's what I want to say as well. The Lakers need to be very careful not to overplay Rui Hachimura, because he does find himself being an injury-prone player. He ain't no Anthony Davis, but we did not exactly bring in an Iron Man here. We did not. So we got to be real about that as it pertains to not overusing him, continuing to use Wenyen Gabriel, and keep other players in rotation so that he can have a breather and be able to, lick his wounds when he gets hurt, because it's going to happen. So that's what I just understand. But it's no more than, he's no more injury prone than, say, a Patrick Beverly or something like that. You just got to get him in a conditioning situation where he can finally just play some good, lengthy, consistent basketball. Because the Washington Wizards, as I've been listening to them earlier today, I got a little more understanding of what went on there. Essentially, what it seems as if he probably requested a trade very recently, which was very logical for both sides, because we've already discussed the fact that he's expiring and they don't necessarily have his money. And they also have other wings that they liked in that situation. Obviously, Kyle, Denny Advija, several others are in rotation. So it was one of those situations where he had some value, but not to them, because they're not going to want to re-sign him at the price. Plus, it hasn't been the greatest development situation there, so they got Kyle Kuzma, they can move on. But what I understand is he and Kyle Kuzma, I mean, if you look at where they were drafted to be, he's actually a higher level player than Kyle was. I think what you see here in reality is us having a more fluid development 4 or 5 years of Kyle Kuzma sent to the Washington Wizards, just like I described earlier in the video, after the development phase, so they got the most out of Kyle. They had been sitting on Rui all that time. Now, had Rui been here, just like Kyle had been here, and we sent him there, it would probably be something like that. But Rui had a tough couple of years developing, unlike Kyle, whose development went very smoothly. Even though he had his bumps in the road, there wasn't no real injuries at all. That's the difference. So as far as I can tell, the upside for Rui Hachimura from here, it might actually be higher than Kyle. And I think there are some people who really believe that. There are some people who believe that. Not the Washington Wizards. But as I said, that's situational, man. That's basically situational. Kyle has developed. Kyle has put himself in a position to be an NBA champion. Kyle has already gone through the rigors of averaging 8 points and no assists, no rebounds, and driving us crazy for 4 years doing it. He's a real player now, and now we need to go ahead and try to see if we can turn Rui into that as well. And I think the good thing is for us is we have the role. We have the role for Rui. We have the position from the play. We have a need for his position. And it ain't going to be no Denny Avdija, no Kyle Kuzma, none of that in his way of getting opportunities. Obviously, Anthony Davis will be starting at the 4 when he gets back, but there's not going to be a shortage of time for Rui at all. I think he'll get upwards of 25, 30 points, 30 minutes a game when he starts getting in rotation. But that's up to Coach. We really don't know what Coach wants to do. Sometimes you think he wants to do one thing and he won't, so we'll figure it out. But if Rui earns his playing time, which I have no reason to believe he won't, he's going to be a regular player for our team, and I'd imagine he'll be starting sooner than later. In fact, he might be the starter immediately, honestly. Well, for continuity reasons, I doubt Darvin would do that. But we're probably going to try to get him into the starting lineup before it's over with. So that's what I think. My confidence level for what to expect is just all over the place. I don't think I've seen a whole lot of conventional stuff from Darvin in regards to his rotations. So what's logical to me, I don't know if I expect. But nevertheless, we're excited about the idea of him having more options to go to, less reason to play 4-guard lineups. In fact, there shouldn't be any reason to play 4-guard lineups anymore. As far as Kendrick Nunn is concerned, I'll just reiterate what I already said. I think he's going to be a much better player going forward than he's been for us. I just think he's been working back from a very serious injury, and he hasn't been in shape, and he's getting in shape now. So we're shipping him out. And I said this in a couple of days ago, probably like last night, probably after the Laker game, that they're going to be getting whoever trades for him is going to be getting a better version of Kendrick Nunn. I think I probably said that last night. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like you can read the writing on the wall. We're less than a month away from the trade deadline, so it's just obvious that if anything's going to get done, it's going to get done now or within this time frame. So you could just kind of see us winding down on whether or not something would happen eventually. So I don't think I was a psychic or anything, but it's just the point. Like, for me, I'm just very, very pleased that the Lakers are doing things that I think are smart. You know what I mean? Stuff that I've been suggesting in this camera. as arrogant as I'd like to feel, I don't know who all follows me, who doesn't, but I try to make myself someone that the Laker organization would value his opinion. You know what I mean? That's what I try to make myself be in. I put up enough of these videos every day till they know that I'm dedicated fully, without anything. I don't need nothing. I really don't. I don't have to make a career out of this. Nothing. I'm doing it because I love it. I'm having fun, and that's what it's about. Coping with my own mental health and my own problems. So like in the midst of doing this, it's nothing for me to throw myself at it completely and enjoy it. And so that's what I do, man. I've been a Laker fan since I was 9 years old, and I think I know what I'm talking about. I've spent a lot of time paying attention to the sport, watching it, playing it. Not at a high level, obviously not. No, I ain't gonna lie and say I played at a high level, but submerging myself in the art of the sport, video game wise, watching it, paying attention to it while everybody else was in school, stuff like that. I was working on turning myself into more or less a analyst in my head. So, it's one of those things where I've always thought like this since I was a kid. So now I have an opportunity to have a voice, and I can take all the knowledge that I've learned over the last 30 years and pour it into something like this. So it's like, I feel like even though I don't know the game that well, I feel like I put enough hours in on the league, so to speak, till I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. And I got a unique kind of brain, so I look at things a unique way, and I think that I come at things with a different angle. And I'm always looking for the future, probably more so than I shouldn't sometimes. So this is one of those things where it's like, I see Rui as a player that I would have wanted to have targeted. I didn't suggest us go after him. I wish I would have had that in mind. But the encompassing understanding that we need to be shooting for 4 years ago lottery picks that may be available now as considered bust. That was definitely something that made all the sense in the world to me, and I've been preaching on this channel for over a year. But it's fine. It's good to see them make that move. It's good to see them make that move, and I hope this means that somebody has heard what I said. I hope this means that they are following, because it ain't just because I want to exalt my damn self. No. It's because I know I'm saying stuff that ain't nobody talking about, bro. Youth and getting things that are of low value when you don't have your own picks. It's maneuverable. You can manage around the situation the Lakers are in. You just got to find something out of nothing. And in the environment we're in, something is everywhere. That's the beauty of the situation. It's almost like we picked a good time to have mortgaged our future if you know what you need to look for, because it is everywhere. The Darius Baisleys of the world, Rui Hachimura's of the world, Peyton Pritchards of the world. These players are everywhere. Jalen Suggs, they're everywhere. And you just got to find them on the back of these benches, get them for the low price, and bring them to you. Do not give up on some of these dudes that have bust. 2-year bust, 3 years bust, even 4-year bust, especially if they had some type of injury that set them back. Just get them in a situation and put them in a training regimen. Get them in a space where they're running like crazy and eating really, really good stuff, healthy stuff, for a good long time. And I promise you, even if they're not that great at what they do, they'll get in better shape, and it'll be easier for them to learn the game. Because a lot of times guys are trying to work their way back from injury. They're trying to, deal with the pressures of people taking their spot and all that, and they never actually focusing on what it is they need to do to get good, because they're too busy trying to prove themselves in a short amount of time. They're focused on proving themselves instead of actually learning what they need to do to better display themselves when proving themselves. And this is what I've seen a lot of times with guys getting short amount of minutes and things like that. So we just need to find these players are in these sporadic situations where every time they turn the ball over, they sit for 3 days, and bring them to us. A lot of these coaches don't know what they're looking at. And most importantly, they have big stars to manage that are going to take up most of the time that most of these development players just aren't going to be able to live without. They're not going to be able to develop without getting that time. So it's in place this way because Lakers and Nets and Clippers have mortgaged their future. These are your natural players that should have actually naturally came to your team via your picks. So it's not like these are things that you should not have. This is your stuff. You gave it away, and what you need to do is find it and get it back. And so that's what it is, man. You take all these dudes, these Jarrett Culvers. We would have loved to have the 9th pick that year. We would have probably took Jarrett Culver. He probably would have struggled 4 years just like all the other young kids we had, and then he probably would have popped right after we got rid of him. So bring him to you, and just like I said, bring Jarrett Culver in. If he continues to not be any good, fine. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Troy Brown, his cachet is exactly what Jarrett Culver's was. I wouldn't have said no higher about Troy Brown than I say about Jarrett Culver. Same thing about Wenyen Gabriel. Before he got here, I'd have told you them dudes were G League dudes, probably don't have nothing to give you. And now that they're here, I'm super happy. Stanley Johnson, I'd have said the same thing about him. I'm telling you, that's 4 players right there that myself would have written off because of the the overall understanding of who they were based on stuff that ain't really real at all. They just need to be brought here. People need to remember who they are as it pertains to the level of talent that they're supposed to be, and then train them. Train them to be what it is you want them to be. Put them in your system and make them your own. We've done it a million times with a million different players in this uniform. Guys in the second round, guys that we've gotten out, undrafted guys that we've gotten in the back of the first round. It's what we do. So the fact that we're in this situation, I would rather be us in this situation with the history that we have than say another team like Washington, for example, who doesn't have the scouts we have, who don't necessarily have the history, who don't necessarily know how to win, to be honest with you. So no disrespect to Washington. I hope they do pull it off someday, because honestly, they've been one of our best allies in this league. Over the last 3 years, nobody wants to do any good deals with us except for them. So I want to salute them. I want to salute them. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm a fan of theirs, but I'm not going to be unhappy when you guys win, because I'll remember what you've done for us. So that's real, man. That's really real. I don't know what type of handshake deal she has with the with the Washington Wizards, but I certainly appreciate them giving us a deal that just gives us a win. We needed one. And look, this could pop for them. Don't get it twisted. There's a lot of good things that can happen with those 3 picks, especially if they draft well. Have they drafted well historically? I wouldn't say they have. So that's going to be the thing for them. Can they improve there? Can they get themselves some scouts like we have that we believe in and get themselves the best possible talent? Because I'm going to tell you right now, those 3 picks meant more to us than they mean to them based on them scouts. So it is what it is. We're happy to let go of them, though. To bring in Rui Hachimura, I think that's more than worth it. We can get those picks a million different ways. You can even buy picks with cash. So there should never be a reason we don't find ourselves willing to shop second-round picks. I don't think so. Max Christie was a player that we got in the second round. I think we purchased him for cash considerations. Jordan Clarkson definitely as well. So, yeah. Some of the best players we've gotten in the second round, we didn't even have them as our picks. So, as long as we keep the scouts in place, it don't matter where the pick is in the second round. It literally does. It could be the top of the second round, the bottom of the second round. It doesn't matter, because we're going to be able to find talent. So that's not a problem. And that's one of the biggest things I'm most confident about in regards to our franchise, which is why it's kind of strange that I'm okay with us giving away second round picks. But it's just in the context of everything else. It's just like, could we do a lot with those second round picks over the next several years? Yeah. What the hell do I need them for the next several years when I'm trying to win right now? You know what I'm saying? And so you could say the same thing about first round picks, but for me, you can definitely say that about second round picks. Get them all the way out of here. We'll figure it out. So we have more of those, right? I think we have 3 more. Ship them out, man. If we can get Cam Reddish, I heard that Damian Jones' contract may be able to help match that. Obviously, we would have much rather had an attractive piece like Kendrick Nunn playing well that could have made that more of a realistic thing. But I don't think it takes as much to get Cam Reddish as it takes to get Rui Hachimura. I really don't. I agree with everybody who's been saying that all day long. If I had a choice between Rui for this package or Cam for this package, it's a quick Rui. Very quick. It's just more proven. He's a bigger player. And Cam has had a hard time being productive everywhere he's gone. Not to say that I think he'd have a hard time being productive here, but Rui is coming off a 30-point game right now. Something I also want to talk about. So I'm not telling you that I know this is what happened, but it stands to reason why this looks this way. I think the Washington Wizards featured Rui Hachimura in the previous game so that he could elevate his numbers so that he could be traded here. I think that. I don't think this is them trading him after a 30-point game. I think this is them featuring him getting 30 points and then proceeding to trade him. And that's the only way to play it. That's what Bogdanovich is going through in Detroit all season long. They're giving him all the minutes. He's averaging like 25 points, and you know damn well we're not going to give him those shots. It's not going to look like that in our uniform. So I just want to let people know that's what I think happened there. I don't think they're just, oops, oh my God, he went for 30. Let's trade him now. No, they were like, okay, let's give him 30 minutes. Let's see if we can get the most out of him, and we're going to shop him after the game. I think that's what that was. So works for me, man. We bit the bait. I like it. I'm happy with it. I think Rui Hachimura is an excellent player to buy low on. Excellent. I mean, that's a no-brainer, actually. If you look at his production, scoring the ball when he's having a good night, it's a no-brainer. It's a 30-point score, as we said. Rebounder, huge body. I had forgotten that he dunked on AD in a really, really nasty way last season. Nasty. Go back and look at that. He's a hammer dunker, man. I'm telling you, I know he's not as big as Bron. Bron is like 300 pounds, probably 280. But to me, upper body-wise, he's comparable, bro. He can keep up with a lot of people. He's shorter than Bron, but he's a broad heavy pushing weight type of dude. So, uh, you know, when you talk about having to deal with some of the more strong players at the forward position, this stands to reason why he would be able to help us. Uh, there's another player out there that normally doesn't fit my bill in terms of what I would normally go for, but I don't think I don't know, man. Or Serge Ibaka, I don't think he would be the worst acquisition for the Lakers. And you guys know I'm not a fan of older guys, washed type guys, and I think he's definitely in that category. But I look over at the Celtics and I look at Blake Griffin and how he's been playing, and I just think that maybe we might be able to get a little something out of Serge. Mid-range jumpers, a couple extra rebounds, just a bigger body to give 6 fouls to. I don't expect him to jump around, dunk, fly, block shots like he used to. None of that at all. But just give me a good 5 minutes in garbage time and be a very steady 9-point scorer down the stretch of a basketball game. Hit all the free throws necessary if we need lineups where we need to put guys on the floor that need to be able to hit free throws. I know I can get him in a large lineup, have those free throw shooters on the floor, have somebody good enough to at least get the offensive rebound off the free throw if necessary, that type of thing. So when I think about him, an NBA player who's made all-star teams in the past, if I'm not mistaken, had really good stints with OKC, Orlando for sure, Toronto, he's been good most places he's gone. So I just look at him, he's over the hill, just like we picked up most of our team last year. He's in that category, and you know I don't like that for the most part. I'd rather go young. But for a buyout candidate or something like that, I don't think he would be the worst acquisition for the Los Angeles Lakers. If you want to get a veteran that can do some of the things that he does, he would be one of the ones I would try to kick a tire on and see what's up. But, you know, again, for me, I always want to give that roster spot to a young player. I just as easily give those minutes to Jay Huff and be just as happy personally. But when I look over at Damian Jones, I look over at JTA, and then I look over at the possibility of us acquiring Serge Ibaka. I know Ibaka is an upgrade from them too. He just is, man. So giving that some thought, not something I want the Lakers to overthink, but you know, just I would not throw the phone if that happened necessarily. So that's something I wanted to say. What else, man? Rui Hachimura, they've announced him. I still don't know exactly what number he's gonna wear. I don't think he's made up his mind on that yet. His number in Washington was 8, so I'm pretty certain that's not on the table for him, to say the least. Not in Los Angeles, buddy. I know number 9 is something that I've been seeing a lot, so maybe he'll go 9. I don't know, but it's gonna be interesting to see how Darvin Ham wants to incorporate him early on, if he wants to bring him off the bench. Obviously, it's very important that we mention another thing that I wanted the Lakers to do was find somebody who could play with Russell Westbrook. You know, I made a video maybe about a year ago when Russell was starting to really go through some of his struggles, and I was saying, you know, one of the things that I think could be a solution for this team is just finding players who Russell has already played with, who he knows, who he can dump the ball to, make life easy for him. Because what I saw last year was just him not having no fail safes, no centers to dump to, nothing that would make him feel at home last year. So my thing was, if we bring him Steven Adams, the guy he's played the most games with in the history of his career, if I'm not mistaken, that would be someone that would make him feel a lot more at home and kind of settle his mind, his whole thing. You know, that was my thinking. This is in that vein. This is exactly in that vein. It's almost like they heard me and they kept that in mind, because we're putting together the Washington Wizards that Russell was on. We got 4 or 5 of those players now. Rui Hachimura is 4 of them to be exact. Rui Hachimura, Troy Brown, Thomas Bryant, and Russell Westbrook. Now I know Russell and Troy Thomas never actually played with one another. So Thomas was out for the season the year that Russell was there. But it's still, you know, it's almost like Boogie when he was with the championship team. You know, he was around the whole time. They know each other very well. So that synergy, bringing in Rui Hachimura, he was a big piece of that year's team. And I think that this synergy that we're getting from that Washington team is a big thing. From what I read, they had a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs the year that they were in that situation, and they made it. They made it. Russell and them, they rushed back and got a bunch of wins at the end of the season and found a way to make the playoffs. So this is a synergy that is special. They've already proven that they are special. And adding LeBron James and Anthony Davis to a foursome like that, I think it's very interesting. Very interesting, and I will not be surprised to see them on the floor in lineups together more than not. Russell Westbrook, Thomas Bryant, Troy Brown, and of course Rui Hachimura and LeBron James. That's a nice lineup. It's not a bad lineup at all. So We got some 3-point shooting there with Troy and Rui. Thomas can hit it through. Brian can hit. Bron can hit it as well. And then Russell, we don't want him shooting too much, but he's hit the shot. So when I look at that synergy, I say, shoot, that's a lineup I'd be comfortable with, depending on how they play defense together. I would be very comfortable with that lineup in some good stretches. And then you look at the type of defensive players we can bring in with, like, if we keep Pat Beverly, obviously we have Troy. Troy's gonna play some D. Wenyen Gabriel, Austin Reeves plays defense. We got some guys coming off the bench. Christie obviously playing D. So if for some reason we want to audible out of that lineup, we can go into a more defensive lineup and still have enough scoring if we keep Bron. When AD gets back, I mean, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be hard for teams to beat us now. It's going to be hard for them to beat us because one of the things that teams have been able to kind of enjoy is the fact that we go small all the damn time. So they can always rebound over us. We don't shoot the ball very well, so they can always look at and leave guys behind the arc. Now that we put Rui on the floor, depending on the lineups we have down there, they're going to have to defend us entirely different. Now you don't feel as comfortable doing certain things against the Lakers that you may have felt yesterday. It's because at the end of the day, you leave Rui open, he can go for 30. You know what I mean? And so when you just add him to this situation, you're given the idea that we're removing a guard. We were logjam of guards anyway. Lonnie Walker is going to be coming back. So obviously you want to give him his minutes. None was going right back to the bench. He was not going to play as much. So it's one of them situations where it's like you're removing none from the situation, which will make your guard rotation fuller, and then you're bringing in a big body, muscle-bound forward who can shoot the ball. You know what I mean? It's like we didn't lose nothing. We did not lose a thing, man. You played 3 picks for his height, and that is a good trade. I'm telling you, them 3 second-round picks for the height difference is all we need. So I think that Rob Pelinka really helped the Lakers today with this particular move. I think he helped us, and I just want us to continue to make deals that help us in that vein. Just like he found this deal, I know he can find better than the stuff that's being rumored right now. I know because of what we've seen here, he can do better than Doug McDermott and Jakob Poeltl and Josh Richardson. He can do better than that for our 2 picks, for sure. And the Nerlens Noel, Bogdanovich, I'm telling you, I think I'm the only person that sees that as absolute trash. Don't even bring that near me. Don't bring that near me. Honestly, I know better. No. I'm telling you guys, 34 years old, don't play defense. All he's going to do is shoot 15-foot jumpers and 3-point shots. That's it. He's going to be a defensive liability. He's going to be getting cooked. It's going to be a lot of stuff going on. You're going to be looking at Bogey like, that's not what we gave 2 picks for, right? We didn't do that, right? That's exactly how that's going to go. And Nerlens Noel, 0 for gopher, man. He'll block a couple shots, pull out a couple boards, and that's it. 5 points. That's the most you're getting out of him. You get the same stuff out of JTA. I'm telling you. Don't do it. Plus, I don't think Nerlens is coming because he has some static with Clutch. In fact, he sued them for a lot of money. They cost him a lot of money, from what I understand. So a reunion there would be unprecedented in nature, and I just don't see it coming. So yeah, I'm 100,000% against any Detroit deal having to bring back those 2 for our 2 picks. If you can get back Bogey without giving up those 2 picks, maybe give up the 3 second rounders to get back Bogey, we're rolling. I'm happy. But anything involving future assets of a good kind for an old guy, 34 years old, that's going to be shooting jumpers, yeah, you want to anger me, do that. Believe me. You want to anger me, do that. So that's what I got to say, man. I'm happy the Lakers are doing things that are not angering me. I think we can scan the league for stuff that's better than what we've talked about here. And like I said, better than what we've been hearing about. You know what I mean? Is what this Hachimura trade was, basically. We didn't hear nothing about it. Any rumors about this trade. This came out of the thin blue sky, and quite honestly, it was better than anything rumored. So that's what I'm hoping our 2 first rounders will bring us back as well. Keeps canvassing the league for better deals than what's being reported, because that Detroit crap is garbage. Anything involving Gordon Hayward and Mason Plumlee is garbage. Anything involving I like Jakob Poeltl, so I'm not going to say that about Jakob. But the other 2, Josh Richardson and McDermott, that's garbage. Absolute garbage, Laker fans. Please stop asking for that. Please do not pressure our team to bring back contracts of players that are not going to even be in rotation. So that's what I got to say, man. That's exactly what I got to say. We will not hardly play Doug McDermott. I'm telling you, he won't even be on the floor. Darvin won't even trust him. So that's what I see coming there. Bogey will play for sure. He'll start too. But I got a memory in my head. I don't know if Bogdanovich is not getting a fair shake because of it. But at 34 years of age, that's part of my thinking. But I remember Radmanovich, okay, Boston Celtics, 2000. He was our small forward. We brought him in to do some of the same stuff that we're asking Bogey to do, and he was god awful in the finals. We got blown out by 40 to the great Boston Celtics team, and one of the reasons is because we didn't have enough size and because we relied on Bogey to do good things. He wasn't doing nothing right. He was turning the ball over, bricking all kinds of shots. He was terrible in the finals every game. We sucked. He was awful. And so for me, it's like if we're bringing him in to do something like that and to be something like that, I got a very bad taste in my mouth, and that's part of why I'm so against this. But it ain't the only reason. It ain't. It's 34 years of age, and plus, I'm just not giving up first-round picks for him, dude. I'm not going to do that. He's a nice role player who's elevated his game, and I hope he finds himself in a good situation. Even ours, if we can do it without giving up those picks. That's all I got to say. But don't you dare give up no first-round picks for no 34-year-old. Absolutely not. You already did something stupid like that when you gave away THT and Stanley Johnson for Patrick Beverley's expiring contract. Please don't do that to us after a great Rui Hachimura acquisition. So that's what I got to say, man. Let's continue to be intelligent. Do not take what the media feeds us. They don't like us. They want us to fail, and they want to make fun of us. So never forget that. If they're telling you something, chances are it's not for the Lakers. So that's what I got to say, man. Shout out to Kyle Kuzma. Looks like he's going to get a big bag from the Washington Wizards. I don't think he's happy about it. I looked at his post. He put out something about some greatness or something like that, and I don't think he wants to be there. You can say whatever you want. It's one thing about getting a big bag. It's another thing to be a Laker, get an NBA championship, and then be sent to the Wizards. That boy wants to be a Laker. I don't care what nobody say. He wants to come back home. So I would not be against the Lakers finding a way to get him. Obviously, the Washington Wizards have been good to us, so if they want to re-sign him, salute. But I know he wants to be here. I know that. So it is what it is, man. It's one of those situations where Rui's here, though. We got somebody who's going to play that position. He gets to spread his wings and do what he needs to do here. And I think he's going to give us some of that Kyle Kuzma. Some of what Kyle gave us, he can give us. And he's probably stronger than Kyle, too. Honestly, he's probably a stronger, heftier dude. So in some ways, he'll be able to do more. So the upside is there, man. I hope he can reach his potential here. Obviously, we're very excited about just having a new young talent, man. I don't care too much about nothing other than the fact that he's young, he's big, he has some size, and he can get us away from small ball. So salute for that to Rob Pelinka and the Laker organization for making this deal. And now I'm just poised to see us continue to be careful not to make anything bad happen. And that's pretty much it, man. BDL 44. Thank you all for watching.